Things Podcast. Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest episode of the Needless Things Podcast, where we talk about toys, movies, music, and all manner of pop culture dorkery. I am your host, Dave, and I need a little sip of beverage to help get me through this busy night. You guys, I have recorded a total of 4 podcast episodes this week. Sunday night, we were going to record San Diego Comic-Con 2019 parts 1 and 2, first the toys, then the media, with our pals Ryan and Jay, and scheduling difficulties reared their ugly heads. It didn't happen, but what did end up happening is I was able to talk to our pal Jason Wilson, director of the award-winning documentary Troublemaker, which will be premiering, world premiere announcement coming August 1st. I was able to talk to Wilson for an hour-ish for some audio that will be released sometime proximal to the announcement of the world premiere of Troublemaker. You can probably guess, but that's all I'm going to say for now. So Sunday night, not a complete loss, ended up getting some good recording done. Now, last Friday, I was supposed to talk to a very special guest who, as of yet, I will not name, but somebody very important or relevant to something very important in my life, set up by Mr. Bo Brown. And I got home from work on Friday, and the internet was out. It was back up at 3:30 the next morning when I woke up to go to work, but it was out that night. When I went to bed, we still had no internet, no cable, no nothing. So unfortunately, I had to send this gentleman an email saying, "I have no internet. I'm so sorry. I cannot record tonight. Can we reschedule?" And very sweet, nice, understanding, great guy. I ended up having an awesome conversation with him that you guys are really going to enjoy, and that will be posted somewhere closer to Dragon Con. He said, no problem at all. We can talk Monday night. So we talked Monday night. So Sunday night, talked to Wilson. Monday night, talked to this gentleman. And then tonight, Thursday night, mere minutes before Friday, I was going to talk to our head of research, Ryan, and our pal belligerent monkey Jay about the toys and the media of San Diego Comic-Con. Split it up into 2 episodes like I've been doing for the past year, possibly past 2 years, I can't remember. And it's going to be our the triumvirate back together again, the original 3 nerds, just talking nerd stuff. And unfortunately, Jay got caught up at work. And in the immortal text of our pal Ryan, Jay is fires, which I hope explains the cover of this week's episode, the 275th episode of the Needless Things Podcast, to you. So for this toy episode, it's just me and Ryan talking about some of the coolest toys that were shown at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. There was some cool stuff. There was some great stuff. My wallet is it's not cringing in fear as much as it has in past years, but there is definitely a lot of stuff I'm pretty excited about, and me and Ryan talk about all of it on this episode. And then we took a quick break in order to purge liquids and replenish liquids. And then we came back with Mr. Mike Gordon to talk about the media of Dragon Con, movies and TV shows. And we did kind of a different format for both of these episodes where we each sort of hit on the highlights that we wanted to talk about, and that was it. And it resulted in shows that were not quite as long, but I think were much more focused and entertaining. And I had a great time recording tonight, but it was 2.5 hours of recording, and now I've got to do production because this episode goes up in less than 12 hours. I've got to have this thing done, which is okay, though, because, as I said, 4 episodes in 1 week. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So, what's going on in other aspects of Phantom's world? So, as I mentioned, Troublemaker, the documentary shot about me over the course of roughly 13 months by one Jason C. Wilson. It has been doing the awards, or not awards circuit, the independent film festival circuit, and has won many awards. We got Best Feature at Scumdance. We have won Best Feature at a couple places. We're doing all right, you guys. And these are people that don't know us. It's not like it's my buddies telling me, yeah, that was pretty good. These are complete strangers watching Troublemaker, and enjoying it and liking it and appreciating it. So this is a big deal, and I'm excited. It's a great time. Wilson is absolutely amazing. What he has done, what his sons have done with the score for the movie, which, by the way, once you hear it, you're going to want to just buy a record of it. I'm so proud. I'm so proud, and I'm so excited to be able to announce the world premiere on August 1st, Thursday, August 1st, next Thursday, and then the following day, obviously, I will reiterate it on next week's episode of the Needless Things podcast. What else is going on in my wacky life? Dragon Con is upon us. The Dragon Con progress report has been published on dragoncon.org for a couple of weeks now, and over the past week, I've completed my rundown of the progress report that I post every single year on needlessthingspodcast.com. That will be going up on Monday, July 29th. You will be able to go through and read, again, highlights of the progress report. This coming Sunday, we are recording the August Needless Commentary because I got to get it knocked out now. With Dragon Con impending, I do not have time for things like Needless Commentaries later in August. So we're knocking that out on Sunday. We are watching Heavy Metal with our special guests, Elzig and Evil Jim. That's right. Guests from 2 previous episodes, Blue Hawaii and Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, will be coming into the Phantom Zone together to watch Heavy Metal, one of the greatest animated adult features of all time. This is our hot August Dragon Con pick. Because honestly, is there anything dorkier than Heavy Metal? I don't think so. So that's what we're doing on Sunday. What else is happening? I have announcements of Dragon Con panels coming up. I am doing plenty of stuff at Dragon Con that is not game shows, but I will also be doing plenty of partying at Dragon Con this year because my schedule is, I'm not going to say so much that my schedule is lighter, but there is less responsibility in my schedule than there has been in quite a few years, and I am looking forward to it, my friends. Gosh, I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, of course, August 10th, Marred Up Fest 3 at Mule Camp Tavern in Gainesville, Georgia. Dale Jepson and the Nighthawks, former Needless Things podcast guest Dale Jepson, will be making his grand return to Georgia to rock asses and flood basements. Dale Jepson is playing... Elzig is playing, the Casket Creatures are playing, Die 985 is playing, I think. Man, I hope I didn't just fuck that up. But anyway, a bunch of badass local bands are coming out to support Dale Jepson and the Nighthawks, who are once again coming in from Texas, and it's a whole day of stuff. It starts at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something, and they're doing games. There's going to be a meet and greet. Bands are playing all day. It's going to be... I missed the past 2 Marred Up Fests. I happen to be off this weekend, but I'm still not totally positive I'm going to be able to make it out. But you should. It is a social media bonanza absolutely ridiculous things happen. Great music is played. It's I don't want to say once in a lifetime because there will have been 3 of them now, but it's a memorable, huge event that you'll be telling your friends about for months and years to come. So, like I said, I'm off that weekend. I don't totally know I'm going to be able to get out to Gainesville, but you guys should absolutely get out there and witness the insanity that is Dale Jepsen and the Nighthawks. Buck Swiftly, they're some kind of inbred moron they have on a rope or something. I don't understand that. There's Bobby Q is their manager, and he's going to be there this time. I guess he can't go to every show because he's some rich Texas person. All the women, judging by Dale Jepsen's musical content, it surprises me a little bit that they would bring their women folk on the road with them, but I guess they do. And maybe their women folk are up for some, crazy road action. Roadhead, I don't know. It's madness. I've only had the opportunity to see Dale Jepsen and the Nighthawks twice now, and after talking to Dale Jepsen on the Needless Things podcast, which you should go to oldneedlessthings.com is the archives, the Needless Things archives. You could go to oldneedlessthings.com, look for Dale Jepsen. You'll find the Dale Jepsen interview, which I didn't know what to expect, but it was actually a really good interview. And there you go. I think that's the last thing I've got to put over. Oh, Theme Park Alchemy. They make candles that smell like theme parks. Isn't that how that song goes? I don't know. Anyway, I've had way too much rum at this point. It's way too late at night after getting up at 3:30 in the morning, and it's way too time to start this episode of the Needless Things podcast.
That would help.
That's helpful.
Where's the link to all the SDs?
Yeah, it's bare. Okay, so that's how we're gonna start. That's like how much has happened, I guess, since Comic-Con is the for the listeners. You can follow along on toyark.com, but the SDCC link page is like 3 pages deep now, buried behind new stuff.
It's crazy. Like, I'm looking at all this stuff that I didn't see at the show or read about. It's not like I was there, but
we were following pretty closely all weekend.
Yeah.
I am here with Ryan. Ryan, head of research. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here at one of the most exciting events of the year, as watched online.
Yeah, absolutely. A very good armchair event. Unfortunately, our pal, the belligerent monkey, Jay is fires.
Yep.
Poor old Jay just couldn't make it tonight. Couldn't make it Sunday night. Couldn't make it tonight. So we're going to sit here. The two of us are going to talk about the toy news from San Diego Comic-Con, and then we are going to record another hour that will air next week on the Needless Things podcast, where our special guest, Mike Gordon, will join us to talk about the movie and other media news from San Diego Comic-Con. But, of course, this being Needless Things, we got to talk about the toys first.
Mm-hmm.
So, was there... well, you know what? Let's start with something that wasn't actually from San Diego Comic-Con, but we have to mention because it looked so awesome. Did you see those Mafex Into the Spider-Verse figures?
Yeah, those things are amazing. And Mafex on the whole, like, I don't collect Mafex, but some of the stuff they were showing was pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, that Dark Knight looked really good too, but the Spider-Verse ones were the ones that blew me away. And I've got a couple of Mafex figures, and they're mostly good. what's really difficult is when you get a figure arts and a Mafex of the same character, and you really see the things that one company does better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But on their own, they just look great. And these Spider-Verse figures, the combination of the cool stylized sculpts, shit tons of articulation and accessories, and then the soft goods clothing, like, really make these look as special as the movie itself was.
Yeah, I really like the stylization on the Peter Parker. I think it looks great. And how do those scale as far as with other 112s? They
are a little large. I'm actually sitting here right now looking at the... Shit, I actually can't remember if this is Figure Arts or Mafex. Oh, this is a Mafex. Okay, so actually, no, I take that back. These are true 12th scale, I believe. They're smaller than Marvel Legends.
Oh, okay.
They're about like the Movie Masters that Mattel did.
Oh, okay.
They're about that scale. So they're not like 112 collective scale. But they're bigger than Figure Arts figures. Figure Arts are almost like 5-inch scale. Like they're smaller. It's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, these just looked incredible, and these are one of the first things I saw, and I immediately was like, shit, I have to have those, because I was so disappointed there wasn't a good line of Spider-Verse figures. And if you go to Big Bad Toy Store, you can pre-order Miles right now for like $95, but at Hobby Link Japan, it's like $65. I don't know what the difference is or why, but I mean, $65, granted, it's a shit ton of money for one 6-inch scale action figure, but it's an imported figure. It is obviously far higher quality and everything than just a Marvel Legends figure. Like, you can't compare that to a Marvel Legends figure, to a $20 figure. So it's kind of up to, how badly you want the best, like, Spider-Verse Miles Morales figure that's been made. And if you go in and look around, you can see the soft goods are totally removable, so he's just in the Spider-Man costume.
And speaking of like merch for Spider-Verse, do you think they just didn't expect it to be as good or do as good? Because, I mean, Marvel Legends should have cranked out a whole wave.
Yeah, they should have.
Kingpin Build-A-Figure, like, such an easy wave to do.
Well, and they did the kid-oriented line, which it drives my son, who's basically just collecting Marvel Legends now. It drives him crazy when those basic lines, like, put out a Spider-Man figure whose knees don't even bend.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's completely ridiculous, and that's what that whole Spider-Verse line was, and that's all they did was the basic kids line. And I think you're right. I think that Hasbro looked at it as a kids movie, and that was kind of the end of it for them. Now, I would be willing to bet for the sequel we'll see something a little different. I wouldn't expect them to be Marvel Legends. I'd think maybe they'd do something more like the Gamerverse.
Yeah, I could see that. Or, I mean, even get into those, what's Hasbro calling that new stylized line they're going to do?
Oh, the Hyper-Real?
No, the more kiddie-oriented one, but they're more...
Oh, the Galaxy of Adventures?
Yeah, I could see them doing more Spider-Verse, that kind of quality.
Yeah, if they actually articulated them like that would be very cool. Those are 5-inch scale. They're not 3 3/4 inch like the current Galaxy of Adventures. What they're so reminiscent of, and this is actually going right into San Diego Comic-Con news because that's where these were premiered. We're talking about, it's technically the third wave of Galaxy of Adventures figures based on the animated shorts that Disney has been producing that retell the original trilogy. Have they dipped into anything else? Have they done prequels at all or anything? Do you know?
Not that I know of, but I haven't watched a ton of them.
I haven't seen a whole lot either because I think they're all on YouTube maybe, and I caught maybe one or two actually on Disney XD or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're great. The two that I saw were great. I liked them a lot, but it's this is technically the third wave, but they're completely redoing the line, and they're almost exactly like the Disney Toy Box figures, which is a fantastic toy line. Mm-hmm. They're the Disney Store exclusives that are the very stylized. It's from Disney Infinity, the video game. That's where all the designs come from. They're very stylized, animated style. They look great. They're loaded with articulation. And they had a $12.99 price point at the Disney Store, which is the only place you could get them. And these new Galaxy of Adventure figures are $9.99, same scale, same amount of articulation. The designs are a little different, but certainly reminiscent. These are cool. I don't think I'll collect them, but they're cool. I like them.
Yeah, I won't get them, but I look forward to seeing them in the store.
Yeah,
I think if I still had younger kids, I would get them, but...
Yeah,
I can't pretend to be buying things for my kids anymore.
Yeah, those would definitely be excuse toys. Like your young kids would end up with them for sure because you wanted to buy them.
Right. It's kind of like how we got every one of the Superhero Squad toys.
Right.
Just because I wanted them.
Yeah, and Imaginext for years that was my thing. Was like I'm going to buy every DC Imaginext thing that comes out. Whether he's necessarily interested in it or not, because they're awesome. So yeah, that was that. I guess that's the first Star Wars thing we'll hit on. And just to wrap up on those Spider-Verse figures, they showed old Peter Parker, who didn't look quite paunchy enough to me, but we'll see how that turns out. And then Miles Morales, both of them. Peter Parker didn't seem to have all of his or was it Peter B. Parker? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't seem to have a lot of accessories, but I for sure believe they'll show more. But Miles had 4 different heads, a bunch of hands. He comes with 4 different webs. And then, like I said, the removable soft goods, shorts, shirt, and hoodie that come off, and you've got just a Miles in his Spider-Man costume. It's great. I'll probably end up getting at least Miles.
Yeah.
And then on to Star Wars, since we already hit on that a little bit, we knew there wasn't going to be much.
What an understatement that is.
We didn't know how little not much would really end up being. Now, we've had a few months since Toy Fair to sort of digest the hyper-real Darth Vader. I'm not really any more excited about it than I was then. If they had just done a straight-up rip-off of Mezco's 112 Collective and done a Vader like that for the same price, I would probably be all in on that.
Yep.
But I'm not interested in this thing that doesn't fit in with anything else in my collection and doesn't look as good quality-wise as the 112 figures, but Vader needs somebody to fight, obviously. What do you think of the choice that they made that's Dagobah Fatigues Luke rather than Jedi Luke?
It's stupid, especially because if you look at the base he comes with, like I'm on Hasbro Pulse right now looking at it, and the base, obviously, it hooks to the other one. Let me pull it back up. I just don't understand. Like, why would he have the Dagobah outfit on with the Death Star base?
I kind of get it because, yeah, Jedi Luke is cooler, but the Dagobah fatigues are a little more interesting to look at. And you also have some more options with that. Like I'm sure he'll have the removable hand. He may have, I don't know what else there's no point in giving him a backpack, because then they're kind of obligated to do a Yoda. And I'm sure at this point they're not ready to totally pull the trigger on this being a full line. And honestly, all they showed, I didn't even realize this until I saw somebody else talking about it. It was a render. It's not even an actual prototype.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I didn't realize it.
That's right, because I did see the pictures of the colored render, and then on the Star Wars on Hasbro Pulse, this is a render.
Yeah, it's totally just a computer-generated render. So, if I'm being super cynical, they did this to try and drum up some more sales for Vader. And I would say Luke at this point Well, they've got the pre-order up on Pulse, though. But, I mean, let me just... You know what? Can we take a second to talk about Hasbro Pulse?
Yeah.
I'm not happy with Hasbro Pulse.
Well, what's so crazy is we had completely opposite experiences with the exact same wave, right?
We're talking about the Afra 000 and BT.
Yeah, like I had mine for weeks. Everything came, no issues, and then they canceled yours, right?
Well, here's the weird thing. One, it is incredibly difficult to search your orders on the website because they have them grouped. You can only look at, I think, 6 or 8 at a time, and they're all by order number. They're not by what the actual item is. If you order, say, a wave of Marvel Legends, they split that up into 6 orders.
And what's amazing is they ship them.
And they
ship
them
different
separately. It's so ridiculous. So I don't care for that at all. And then when you go back and look through your orders, you will actually see like the original order for 6 figures, and it shows as canceled and then restocked. And then you go further up and you see 6 separate orders that have the same order number with an A through A, B, C, D, E, F, A through F beside them, where they've split it into separate orders, and those will have their various status. Like, it's very difficult to find one specific thing, and then I've got items in there that have been canceled twice, but are shown as like in progress. So let's say I go to Target tomorrow and I find the skiff, which I pre-ordered from them, Jabba's skiff. Currently, it's showing as canceled, which seems to be their process. At some point, they cancel it and restock and then ship it. But the problem is, if I go find it in the store, I want to buy it and cancel it from Hasbro Pulse, and I can't because it's showing as canceled. And then the other problem that I've got is these things are showing up in stores before they're even shipping from Hasbro Pulse, which part of the original pitch for the website is have the opportunity to pre-order items and get them before other stores have them.
Yeah.
I have now found, so I pre-ordered the Toy Biz Retro X-Men because I want every single one of those figures, the blister carded ones. Mm-hmm. Found Iceman in GameStop the other day. So those are out. Those are hitting.
Huh.
Just saw a post on Instagram. Oh, we found Juggernaut and Colossus in Target the other day. Still listed as pre-order on Hasbro Pulse. Just saw a picture on Instagram of several of the 80th anniversary 2-packs. Hela and Scourge, Steve, or Captain America, and what's her face?
Oh, Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter.
Well, I found Grandmaster and Korg 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, see, that's crazy, man. And granted, I didn't pre-order any of those, but if you go to the Hasbro Pulse website, those are still listed as pre-orders.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, I feel like I was deceived a little bit as to the nature of Hasbro Pulse, because the impression that I got was that as these things were being shipped to retailers, they would be being shipped to us at the same time. So that, maybe I'll get them the same time Target gets them, but it wouldn't be like weeks between when I first see them at retail and when I get them in my hands from Hasbro Pulse.
Right. Because at this point, I might as well just order from Amazon.
Right. Exactly.
Especially because, we have the free premium membership, which is great because it ships for free, but Amazon does that too. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm going to wait.
Amazon's going to get it to me sooner and potentially cheaper because sometimes within a week of being posted, as a matter of fact, I saw something on Amazon earlier. One of the 2-packs is already down $5 on Amazon. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like the price is $49.99 and it was like $44.99. Mm-hmm. So I mean, as of now, I haven't canceled. Well, no, I actually did. I canceled some of my pre-orders on Hasbro Pulse, but it was mainly because it was stuff that I was like, you know what? If I don't end up getting this, it's not going to kill me. But as of now, I don't think I'm going to pre-order anything else. And even after they put up all the San Diego Comic-Con waves, even the Lebowski Thor wave that I definitely want, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet because I'm a little soured on the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, and I'm surprised because, I was under the impression, too, that things like the Grandmaster and the Collector that got sold at San Diego...
that we'd get first dibs on them.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anything that seems to indicate that.
Well,
and they've made it pretty clear. Like, I think the Collector, that's it for him. Like, they've kind of said, we may not release this anywhere else.
Right.
And so, yeah, I assume... Well, Hasbro Pulse, since I'm a premium member and I'm supposed to get these perks, perhaps that will be where it is, but I haven't seen anything that indicates that.
Well, no, they've given the dates for when they're going to go up on Hasbro Pulse, but as premium members, we don't get like an early shot at it or anything.
Right, which is what should have happened.
Right, it's exactly what, I mean, that's what they said was going to happen.
Yeah.
So this has been pretty, initially it was great. At first, they were getting stuff out. I got the first wave of figures I got from them. I can't remember what it was now, but it was. I've just now started seeing them in stores. So
I think it was Kingpin Wave.
Yes,
the first ones I got.
The Kingpin Wave was the first one, and then the current X-Men wave that I haven't even gotten the whole thing out yet. Or I haven't put it up yet.
The current one. Not the Apocalypse Wave.
No, not the Apocalypse Wave.
The
Caliban Wave.
Caliban
Wave. I've just started seeing that in stores, and I've had it for easily a month now. So, I mean, at first it was pretty good, and now it seems to have fallen off, and that's, we'll see how it goes. And they didn't address anything about it at Comic-Con, so...
Yeah.
Best to move on, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, so Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. Oh, wait, I think we're done with Star Wars.
Well, so there was Luke, and then there was the Sith Trooper, which is our first Rise of Skywalker figure.
Which is they always do a preview figure of some kind.
Yeah, it's a red Stormtrooper.
It looks great. I want... If I can get it, I want the Comic-Con exclusive one with all the extra weapons.
Yeah. But, not a must-have. And, I don't blame them for Star Wars. Like, we know it's a movie year, so we know they're going to hold back.
And it's not Hasbro's fault. It's Lucasfilm.
Right. Well, and the rumor is, though, which I kind of believe, Force Friday is in... When is Force Friday?
September, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that's when it has been. I think it's a little later this year.
Oh, it is. You're right. It's in November because it's when Disney Plus launches. But what some people are saying is they are going to actually reveal more figures at
here
D23.
We go. Triple Force Friday, October 4th.
Okay, so it's coming. I think they may show some figures at D23. Next week. I don't know what, but you got to remember, like all the other movies, we saw some figures before the big to-do. So, I think they're holding stuff back. At least they could put out, like, show a Mandalorian or, show a Rey. Something we know is going to be in it, but we'll see. But yeah, it's Star Wars. Another year's come and gone, and I don't have a Black Series X-Wing, which is sad.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised. Well, I don't know. I've gone back and forth on that Black Series X-Wing concept. Like, on the one hand, it feels like something they kind of have to do, but on the other hand, with how badly that TIE Fighter failed,
yeah,
I don't know. They may consider that done.
They may. Now, one thing they did this year, which, God, it pissed me off. I wouldn't say pissed me off, but so Hasbro did awesome displays this year.
Yeah, yeah.
The Star Wars one was amazing. The Marvel Legends one was unreal. But in the Hasbro one, so they kind of changed it and kept putting stuff out. But they put in custom figures in it. So
that Bib Fortuna pissed me off.
Yeah, they're like, here's Bib Fortuna. Not really a black figure. The Rancor, that thing looks amazing. Now, they did an interview, and they did not rule out that Rancor could be produced.
Right, they did that gauging interest thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, would I buy the Rancor? I don't know, maybe. Bib Fortuna, you've got to have. Something like, I think they put a medic droid in there, and, I'm not going to remember his name,
EV-99.
EV-99 was in there, and he looked good. Not one that I necessarily need, but looked good. But yeah, they put these like custom figures in the display case, which I just don't understand.
Well, we don't even have a modern 3 3/4 inch Bib Fortuna.
I didn't know that.
No, there is not a modern release. The last one that came out was like 2002, I want to say.
Oh, so back like Green Card. No. That would have been
Clone Wars. Not Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
I believe that's the most recent one we've got, which is insane, especially considering, one, that they did that Jabba the Hutt years ago, the Walmart exclusive one. And now that they're doing all of the Jabba's, they did the sail barge. They're doing the 3 skiff guards they've never done before. They're redoing Jabba's skiff, but we don't have a Bib Fortuna. What is that? That's crazy.
That does suck. Oh, you know what else was in a Black Series announcement? They didn't show it, which I think is a crap move. So they were asked about making Zeb. So, Zeb is the last member of Rebels that were missing. Zeb is going to be a damn deluxe figure at the higher price point.
Zeb's the last member of Rebels we're missing, unless you actually want like a more recent Sabine and Ezra. And, I don't collect a lot of Black Series. But I did get the Rebels figures, and I'm a little annoyed that Ezra is not more recent.
Yeah, I would have preferred a more recent Ezra. I'm going to be happy that we actually got them all. I didn't think that might actually happen at one point.
Yeah.
Sabine, I like the Sabine we got. I think if I had to pick a Sabine out of across the show, that's the version I would pick. But yeah, Ezra, I would have preferred a more end of the season kind of Ezra. Although it was fun opening it, and I got his little blaster lightsaber thing out, and I was like, oh God, I forgot how awful this thing was.
Zeb, look, if they want to say he's got to be a deluxe figure, fine, whatever, but don't try and act like he's a tougher thing to figure out than that crappy General Grievous they just put out.
Yeah. I don't know. Now, do you have the General Grievous?
I don't, but I've read enough reviews to have a pretty good idea that it's not much better than the 3 3/4 inch General Grievous figures that won't stand up after like 3 months.
So here's the weird thing. On the shelf, once you can configure him to stand, he looks amazing. I mean, he looks great, but I'm constantly picking him up and trying to like balance him a certain way.
Right.
And the knees just fold under the weight, and like, he's kind of like LV's really hard to stand up like that. But yeah, that Grievous, and I don't know how they could have made it any different, honestly.
Can I tell you my trick that I had to use for my 3 3/4 inch Grievous?
Yeah.
I got some fishing line and put it around his neck as support. And then stuck it to the bottom of the shelf above him. So he's essentially like he's hanging with his feet on the ground.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
maybe I'll try that.
It totally works, and I would imagine actually I've got a few in this room. There are a few figures that I've had to sort of do that with. There's a Jack Skellington I had to do it with. A lot of like really wobbly, top-heavy figures that just don't. Oh, Bubba Hotep. Bubba Hotep's another one, which is a NECA figure with the stupid rubber feet for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of my little tricks. But the thing is, I have to put them in just the right spot so I can put the fishing line over the support of the upper shelf.
The only other Rebels figure I think, well, I'd really want Price. I'd really want, and I'm going to say it wrong because I always do, Rook.
Oh, yeah, he'd be great. I'd love...
And I think that's the only way we'd get him.
I'd love... oh, shit, what's his...
Fulcrum guy.
No, the Imperial guy that ended up being a double agent or ended up joining the...
Yeah, he did Fulcrum after it was after Ahsoka gave up the persona. He used it for a little while. I know, yeah.
I can't remember his name right now, but
I can't either.
The Inquisitors would be great. Ahsoka would be great. A Rebels Ahsoka.
That would be nice to get her, yeah.
And she'd sell. Like, I think out of everything we're talking about, she might be the most likely just because everybody loves her.
Yeah. Which, and this is totally off topic again, but man, how far did Ahsoka come from that crap movie?
Which I saw in the
started
theater.
Rebels.
You saw it in the
did
theater,
too.
didn't you? Yeah.
I saw
I hated her.
Opening day in the theater.
Yeah,
I was
same
ready
here.
to go, and
Same
then
here.
it was all Sky Guy and
Oh gosh, what was Jabba's kid's name? Farty or something?
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. I lost hope that day.
I did too. And honestly, I didn't watch the first season of Rebels for a while.
I didn't either.
Because I
wasn't
was like, I'm
interested.
not watching that garbage.
I was like, this is for little kids. Clearly, I'm not gonna watch it. And then I can't remember what motivated me to watch it, but eventually I did, and I was like, okay, they get better.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Star Wars.
That's everything, right?
It was quick in and out. Yeah, not a lot to show, but understandable.
I want to throw this out there. This is, as far as I know, they weren't even actually at San Diego. That's everything I'm going to talk about is stuff that wasn't at San Diego Comic-Con, apparently. But I just real quick wanted to point out that Mego was sort of doing their own Comic-Con on Instagram and social media, and we've discussed Mego on these podcasts before. We talked about last year when they had their presence in Target, and now that they've kind of got a foothold in the marketplace, they've expanded. They're showing up in Walmarts now. You can get them pretty much in any online store, and they're expanding on the licenses that they're carrying. And during San Diego Comic-Con, they had two, to me, huge announcements. One, that they're doing a 1990 Pennywise the Clown that is one of the creepiest fucking things I've ever seen. If you take a moment and picture in your head what Amigo Tim Curry Pennywise would look like, it's 10 times creepier than that. It looks incredible. It's got rooted hair, like fuzzy hair. It's got the soft goods. Obviously, it's Amigo, so it's got the soft goods clown suit. It just looks horrifying. I'm very impressed. It really
does.
Dude, oh my gosh. And then the other big announcement is that they are doing Wrath of Khan figures. Now, lots of people over the years have done Wrath of Khan figures. Playmates did some. Diamond Select did some. But nobody has ever done the full Enterprise crew in their movie uniforms. It's never happened. Mego has been very, very good about completing teams and franchises. You can get everybody from Facts of Life. You can get everybody from Full House. Like, they're really on point with completing things. And they showed Kirk and Spock, obviously, because those are the two you lead with. They showed Khan. And just from their track record over the past year, I have every confidence that we're finally going to get the full Enterprise crew in their movie uniforms, which is something I've wanted since I was a little kid. And they look like modern Mego is not quite the same as 70s Mego. The head sculpts are a little bit better. If you've seen their Freddy Krueger that they put out, like, yes, it's not NECA quality, but it's really, really good Mego quality. They have a certain retro sense to them, but the sculpts and the soft goods are much more advanced than what we had in the 70s. So I'm totally stoked. Good job, Nika. Good job, Migo. You blew me away without even being at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Ryan, what's something that caught your eye?
Let's talk about Mezco. Let's
do it.
So, Mezco, as far as 112 goes, didn't show a whole lot this year. They showed off stuff that we had previously heard about. They showed Gambit. We had seen Gambit. He was in the kind of catalog book they hand out.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you, because I didn't remember seeing a Gambit prototype before, but I knew we knew about Gambit, and I couldn't remember the context.
Yeah, they just had his face in the book, same way they did with Aquaman. That's where we had seen Aquaman before.
Right.
I think Gambit looks amazing. I don't know if I'll get him or not, just because I'm trying to scale back on how much my thousands of dollar toy shell costs.
Right.
But man, he looks good. Like the mix of the armor, the jacket looks really good. They nailed the face sculpt. Like he looks good.
It's funny you mentioned the mix, because my in my write-up, that's exactly what I said, is for some reason his mix of soft goods and then that armor chest plate just looks really, really cool.
Yeah. So I think he looks real great. And then kind of the reveals they went through as far as the comic side. They did a Morbius, the Living Vampire.
Which looks pretty fucking weird.
It does. I think it's on the Spider-Man body. So I think in person it's going to look really good. And it's kind of a mix of some older stuff with him and some kind of new stuff.
What's with the pattern on his suit?
I think it's one of those things they just do. Like they did it with Cyclops. They're doing it on a couple of them, where I think they're afraid to, like Flash. So Flash, has just the solid spandex suit.
Right.
And it does kind of look plain when you look at it, more than the others. And so I think they kind of do that. They figured that out to kind of break it up a little bit. I wish they had displayed him with his arms out, because you can see his little under capey thing is kind of draped behind him, and it looks like it expands really big. It seems like somebody at Mezco really likes that, the Sons of Midnight, because we've got Blade, Morbius, Ghost Rider, they're kind of like completing that little team.
Oh, you're right. Midnight Suns. I didn't even think about that.
Suns.
And I'm looking at that Morbius, and you're right. You can see right under his arm, his little cape is kind of folded up, so it looks like it does, expand out.
Yeah, I think the face looks really good. We'll kind of see what accessories they throw with it. And, timing-wise, I think it's smart, because by the time this thing actually hits...
Jared Leto, baby.
Yeah, the movie may be about to, at least we should be seeing trailers and whatever for
By
it.
the time this figure comes out, the movie will be out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, no kidding. Who's next? Oh, Iron Fist. So, Iron Fist, when I first looked at Iron Fist, I was like, ugh, that's terrible. And then I kind of looked at some of the more details, and I'm kind of warming to it. I think the arm wraps and the feet wraps look really good. I think if they would add the yellow sash around his waist that he traditionally wears, so it kind of breaks it up, it would make that figure look 1,000 times better. It's still promotional. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, this thing could look way different by the time it comes out.
Yeah, so they may add that. A lot of people were saying, yeah, y'all need to add that. And then...
You're totally right about the sash, though. That would... If he had a little yellow sash on, I would have been like, oh, I might get him, instead of, oh, this is ugly as fuck.
Yeah, it's just odd how they...
Yeah, you're right.
Didn't include that.
Yeah.
And then the other... I'm pulling it up. They had...
Well, they had an updated version of the 1989 Batman, which I think looks great, because I've got, two 1989 Batman figures from NECA, and I love them, but the suit isn't quite right on the NECA ones because it's a plastic action figure. Mezco has the, rubber bodysuit with the rubber molded muscle pieces and everything on top, and it looks like the suit.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the suit. I think he's one in hand. He's going to look a lot better.
Yes.
And I'm going to be really happy with him. And static, just still shots like that.
He looks stiff. He looks kind of stiff and boring.
Right. Which, really, that suit is kind of stiff.
Right. He can't turn his head.
Yeah. So, and then we got Spider-Man Far From Home, which I think was a genius way they did it. So they teased it. Leading up the week before the show, they kind of put up these picture teasers.
Yeah.
And it was like a picture of a suit and an arrow up. And so people were guessing. And then the next one said Far From Home if you decoded it. And then they were like, yep, here's the Spider-Man Far From Home figure. And it's for sale tomorrow. And went out that quick. I think he looks good. I don't get any of the movie figures, but
I think it looks amazing. And this is going to sound so dumb, but for $90, which isn't a whole heck of a lot more than a standard 112 release, but for me, it wasn't enough figure for $90.
No, and if you looked on the site when you bought it, it said deluxe.
And it's not.
It's not at all. It doesn't light up. It comes with a couple of web effects and a separate head, but that is what I would expect from a regular Mezco release.
Dude, the Diabolic that I just got came with way more stuff.
Yeah, so I don't really understand that.
Which, by the way, that Diabolic, holy shit, I recommend everybody, if you're into 112s at all, get it. The bodysuit is one of the coolest things they've put out. The masked and unmasked heads both look great. All the accessories, everything. My review's going up probably in 2 weeks because I've got Dragon Con shit going on. But, oh my gosh, this figure is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's one I'd really like to see in person.
Yeah, and if you're watching Amazon and he dips in price or anything, just jump on him because I think at one point he's going to skyrocket.
And then the final Marvel thing reveal, which wasn't really a reveal.
Yeah, I never even saw it. The only time I saw it was the picture that you sent me. I haven't seen it anywhere else.
So they took it out of the case.
Okay.
It was there. It's Thanos. And you could only see the back. It's definitely a comic Thanos.
Yeah.
You could see the Infinity Gauntlet, and it does not look good.
Oh, really? See, I've only looked at it on my phone because that's where you sent it to me.
Yeah, if you zoom in kind of and look at the gauntlet and stuff, I don't know. I think it seems like he's in early production maybe. The gauntlet, it's just off. It looks cheap. It doesn't look finished. There were rumors going around that they were asked to take it off because it's not finished yet.
Wow.
All those get pending licensing approval.
Yeah.
And that they were told, don't show it yet.
Oh.
But we know they're going to do it now, at least. There's lots of questions about it. Is it going to be because it's a big-looking figure.
It's got to be as big as their Dark Side. It has to
right. Be. So the question is it going to be a Dark Side price? I hope not. Dark Side, I have Dark Side. I love him. He's got the stone. I certainly did not pay $180 for it. Right, and if I did, I'd be pissed. So we'll see what they do with him. If he lights up or if they just kind of go the route.
What if the stones on the gauntlet light up? How cool would that be?
That would be awesome. But I still don't think I can't justify $180.
No.
So that was the Marvel. For DC, they kind of showed figures that we had seen before, but we got to see some updates to them. Wonder Woman looks amazing.
Yes, that first picture of her didn't do anything for me, but seeing her here, man, she looks great.
Yeah, she's got some changes from when they first showed her. It looks like the head sculpt's been updated. There's some yellow details and stars on the skirt. I really wish they would display her at least once without the armor on. Because when I get her, that's how I plan on displaying her without that junk on her.
Yeah.
So she looked good.
The shield looks fantastic now. But you're right. The head and the hair are definitely different from the first thing we saw, because this, to me, almost looks like George Perez inspired art. Like, she just looks awesome.
Yep. And then we saw Aquaman in person.
I do not like his green trunks.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying.
I don't understand why they did that, because that's not what Aquaman doesn't have green trunks like that, does he?
He has before.
Has he?
My thing with the Aquaman is I think he looks good, and I'm glad they're going with the orange and green style.
Yeah.
But my concern with that is if you're going to put him with the rest of the Justice League they make, he's going to look real Super Friends next to other ones that do not look Super Friends.
I think they need to make all of his green that darker green that the trunks are, and darken up the orange some, and I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
He just looks a little silly now.
Who else did we see? I think that was it for DC.
Well, and then the Black Batman that I didn't even realize was just the Onyx edition.
Yeah, it's just the Onyx edition with a black bat symbol instead.
But he looks so cool.
He does. I won't get him, but, you know.
Well, he's gone, right? Didn't they already sell that
yeah,
one?
he is. Yeah, he's one of those weird, limited, there's only 50 of them, deals like they did last year.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is they showed Magneto again, and I swear they're doing it on purpose at this point. Magneto Mangina was in full effect.
Whoa! I'm looking at it right now.
I think it was on purpose and they pushed it in.
They had to have.
And it is worse than it's ever been.
Oh my gosh, he looks like he's at a country western bar. Or he looks like a People of Walmart.
I swear they're trolling people
that has to be intentional.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
And then we got Bluto and a new Popeye.
Which,
I know you have your Popeye.
Yes.
You love Popeye.
The Popeye is awesome, and I'm glad because this one, at first I thought this was a 2-pack. It's not. It's 2 separate figures. The Bluto looks incredible and makes me hope that someday Mezco can do a Goon figure.
Oh, yeah.
In the 1/12 scale. But Bluto looks amazing, and it actually makes me want, Wimpy and some of the other characters. Poop Deck Pappy would be awesome. But this Popeye, I believe this is kind of the more traditional cartoon colors.
Yeah, I think so.
The one that you and I probably grew up watching, I think these are the colors we're more familiar with, so it makes sense because they did the comic strip Popeye, which is the one I've got. They did the full-on sailor Popeye in the all-navy whites, and then this one I think is the kind of traditional animation one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I picture when I think of Popeye, is the one they've shown now.
Excuse me.
One of the reasons I'm real interested in the Bluto, not that I'll get him, but that's your Hulk body right there. They now have a body to build a comic Hulk on. And so I wonder if that's what they're going to do, because all they'll have to do is change the plastic coloring, and there he is.
Oh, you're right. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. And then I think one of their big... Oh, before we get to him, they showed another John Wick. John Wick has had some controversy in the fun world of Mezco collecting. So what they are doing and what they have said in interviews is they are still playing with the body that John Wick is going to be built on. And what they've said is they're changing the body so that the suit fits better. So rather than change the suit, they're going to change the body.
Interesting. See, I ordered I guess it was the deluxe one with the big weapons.
Yeah.
I went ahead and ordered it because I just felt like it was one of those things that because I'm still mad at myself for not getting the Punisher that came with the giant weapons chest.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and order this, and if for some crazy reason I decide I don't want it, obviously I can flip it. But I got it.
Yeah. And then they showed the final version, I guess, of Hellboy, which I bet they're kicking themselves for that one.
Jeez, yeah.
Nobody's going to want that figure.
No, and it's crazy because I guess they're far enough. I mean, it says spring 2020. That's a long time away. I mean, at this point, Mattel cancels shit that's in final stages of development. There's a whole wave of NXT WWE figures that were done, like created, and they're not putting them out. Mm-hmm. I feel like Mezco should just cancel this thing.
And it kind of feels like Mezco has canceled Justice League Flash. They've stopped showing him. They don't answer questions about him.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one they showed for a long time, and now all of a sudden he's just gone. They never show it. People have asked, and they don't say anything, so he's probably canceled. And then the big kind of surprise Mezco, I think, was the Conan.
Yes.
Which is funny because when they announced 112, which is how many years ago?
2015? 14?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's one of the first license they announced.
Yes.
And it's taken this long. If they were going to do a Conan, that's the one I would want them to do. But it looks good. I mean, I think it looks great. But I just look at it and think, I don't know if that's an $80 figure.
I think it is, and I think it's probably going to have a lot of accessories.
Yeah. Now, I'm hoping maybe he'll have, a big fur cape or something. Or
Right.
Like Iron Man didn't have any cloth goods or anything like that, but he was made of metal, and he's awesome. It added value. So when I got him, I was like, oh, yeah, this is $80 or however much it was. So we'll see what they kind of do with Conan.
As someone who has bought and who still owns quite a few, $20-ish Conan figures, let me just say that this one immediately looks to be worth about $80 compared to the ones that I have.
But, I mean, yeah, that was pretty much it for Mezco. Now, Mezco traditionally, they did a lot last year, I think, but they tend to stick to the New York shows. That's where they're all based, so they prefer to show more at Toy Fair and at Comic-Con, so it's not too surprising. And they're real backlogged with what...
I didn't want to see a whole lot from Mezco, to be honest.
Yeah, they need to catch up. So,
yeah,
that was about it for Mezco. Now, they also revealed, let's see if I can remember, they are going to do the Superman figures. The Fletcher Superman figures in 5 inches.
The 5 points figures.
Yeah, and I think those look really good.
Well, what's so weird, though, is they showed the Max Fleischer figures, they showed the Spirit, but they also showed, and we had already seen Scooby-Doo and the Addams Family at Toy Fair.
Mm-hmm.
What was so weird to me, though, is they showed Batman 1966 figures.
Oh, I don't think I saw those.
Yeah. They Batman, Robin, Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, I can't remember who else. There were maybe 2 others, and a Batmobile. But Funko just did an excellent and amazing line of 3 3/4-inch Batman 66 figures, complete with a Batmobile, complete with a pretty wide range of villains. Not everybody, but I mean they made it to Bookworm. And as far as I can tell, it didn't really set the world on fire, so it really shocks me that Mezco would dive into that within, 2 years of Funko putting their Batman 66 stuff out. And when the Funko ones had bending knees and elbows, too. Whereas these are 5 points of articulation. So it's interesting. And these look a little different. They're a little more... they almost look a little more like animation than they do like the TV show, but still, it was an odd decision. I was surprised to see it.
Yeah.
The next thing that I've got, and it's kind of a one-shot, one and done, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there, is NECA They showed some cool stuff, but the big one to me was the fact that they have the Hellraiser license back, and not just Hellraiser 3, like everybody else seems to get, but the Hellraiser franchise license. And that's one of the first things that made collectors take notice of NECA was their Hellraiser line that had the Build a Pillar of Torment or whatever it was called. It actually had, you collected the entire wave of figures, and it would come with the pieces to build different pieces of architecture. Like one of them was a puzzle box, one of them was the Pillar of Souls from Hellraiser 3, one of them was the converted puzzle box from Hellraiser 2. It was a really innovative line. The figures look great to this day. Like, they have aged better than any other horror figures from that era. And now NECA has the license back, and they showed an Ultimate Pinhead figure that is pretty much done. It's amazing that within a few days of announcing that they were doing Hellraiser again, they had the figure ready to go. Like, they've kept that under wraps for this long. And if you know NECA's Ultimate Horror figures or Ultimate line of figures, you know they're the best. And this Pinhead looks absolutely incredible, and I'm stoked. It comes with 2 different heads. Obviously, it's got a puzzle box. It's got a sort of pleather skirt rather than an all-plastic one like the older figures had. It just looks excellent. Absolutely going to add it to the collection, and absolutely going to hope that they continue making Cenobites for as long as they can.
Yeah, looks wonderful.
What was your next pick?
Well, I really want to save one for the end. the big killer. DC, we talk about DC Multiverse or whatever they're calling it now. DC Universe.
It's Multiverse. Multiverse, you're talking about the 6-inch ones?
Yep.
Yeah, DC Multiverse is the official name of the almost dead line.
Yeah, so this is it. Like, the line's been slowly dying for years now. I still haven't found all the last wave that I was looking for. But so they showed the last wave, and I hate it because it's like, yep, here's the last wave, and it's amazing, and look what we could have been doing the whole time.
I know. That's what drives me crazy.
Like, come on, guys. So Killer Croc is the Build-A-Figure. He looks great.
He looks like an animated series Killer Croc done in like a realistic comic book style.
Yeah, he really does. And then the wave itself is just, it's wonderful. It's a Grayson Batman who, I've really wanted to go with. My Damien. The Katana's fine.
Not
whatever.
one I would ask for, but she looks good.
Yeah.
Red Robin.
Yeah.
We need him. It's Tim.
Yeah. A good Red Hood, modern Red Hood.
Yes.
That I think looks really good. And then, well, it's a tie for the two I was most excited about. One is KG Beast, who I absolutely love. I've wanted KG Beast, a figure like this, forever. And
now, are you disappointed that it's a more modern KG Beast?
I will take KG Beast in any form I can get him.
I agree.
He is one of those that's just amazing. And so, would I like the older one? Yeah, but I'll take this KG Beast.
Although in the line, he's just called Beast.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
He's not KG Beast. I think he's just the Beast.
That's ridiculous. We all know who it is. It's like Arrow tried to church it up. Don't church up KG Beast. Lean into it. And then the best one they've shown is this Alfred figure.
Oh my gosh. Possibly the greatest DC figure of all time.
He looks, and granted, it's suit body. I'm glad to see we're going out on a suit body.
Well, but it's not standard suit body though. It's Joker suit body.
That's true. It is Joker suit body. He comes with a nice little tray with a glass of water and some stuff you can serve. But then he comes with 4 heads.
4 fucking heads.
Where has this been, DC Universe?
Yeah.
And they're awesome. It's like a comic book Alfred. It's a 66 Batman Alfred. It's a Burton Alfred. Well, not just Burton, but the old movies.
Michael Gow,
Yeah.
Alan Napier, comic book Alfred, and then you had to explain to me what this weird zombie alien thing is.
Yeah, that's the Outsider head.
I don't even remember that, and I totally read what was it from?
So originally Outsider was from like Silver Age, but he looked different. He was kind of like crystallized, weird looking. But in Flashpoint, he came back as the Outsider, and for a little while after Flashpoint, Outsider came back to the main DC universe. It was not a great time for DC, but that's a nice little throw in there for people that like it.
Nobody's going to use it, given the other three options.
Yeah, I don't even know which head. I mean, this is one I may get to have the comic book Alfred, and then to get the movie Alfred to put with my Keaton Batman that Naked made.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, the Wave is just great. I'll probably never actually see it in a store because I have no idea how they ship those anymore.
Well, here's the crazy thing is you can go to Big Bad and get it for like $115 for the whole Wave right now.
Can you?
It's cheaper than... Because normally it's six figures, normally $20 a piece, which is $120. Typically, Big Bad sells those for like $145 for the Wave. So I don't know why this is cheaper, but this Wave and the Wave before it, the one with Starfire and Beast Boy and all, are $115 for the whole Wave.
Huh.
I don't know why, but yeah, I had them ordered and then I canceled them. And then they showed this Alfred, and I'm like, shit, I might need to put this back on pre-order.
Grab it.
Yeah.
And then the other ones they showed, they had the Poison Ivy, which she's fine.
Well, here's what I realized, because she doesn't look great, but she's a throwback figure.
Right. Yeah, those other three are the weird throwback figures.
And they're technically, which this kind of annoys me because it means they're probably going to be $25. They're part of that fancy movie multiverse line.
Are they?
Yeah, because they're showing up at Targets now, and I saw a picture of somebody that had found Joker and Batman, and they're in that blue fancy box.
And those blue fancy ones, they've been real hit or miss.
Well,
I don't know if you've seen...
You know what, though? I'm thinking everything comes in the blue fancy box now.
I think you're right.
It does. It all comes in that box now. So I don't know. They may not be $25.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Joker looks crappy, but that's the Joker look they're going for. So, I mean, I guess they did what they set out to do.
Well, he's supposed to be the Toy Biz 1989 Joker.
Yeah.
Like, he's an update of that. Now, what... So, with Multiverse ending... What are your kind of like final thoughts about Mattel post DC Universe Classics?
I don't know. I don't know what Mattel's going to do. I guess they're trying with this He-Man line. But so DC will go to McFarlane, right? That will be the new people that do it. But other than that, I mean, I can't think. What else is Mattel doing now?
I think Mattel's bread and butter is WWE now, which we'll get to that in just a minute.
Yeah.
But as far as just what Mattel's output has been since DC Universe Classics ended, like the multiverse stuff, what's kind of your moratorium about the last 3 years, I guess? Of Mattel's DC output.
I'll say I appreciate they did put in effort to try to fill in some last gaps that people really wanted, especially with like Vixen and Ray. Obviously, I'm excited about KG Beast. Spoiler. So they really did try to finish off the line. And I know we've talked about the line as a whole. It's an amazing line. It went for a long time. It looks amazing on the shelf. I think they kind of hit a wall as far as they had done everybody as it was dying out. So, I appreciate what they did in the end. I think they messed up with their movie figures. They did not sell well at all. Like the Shazam figures just sit. The Aquaman figures sat on shelves. So
the Shazam figures look terrible, though. It's funny because I actually bought. Now, granted, I got more than half of them on clearance, but I bought all of the movie figures from, let's see, I'm looking at them right now. I guess Justice League, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, yeah, I guess that's it. I bought all of those, and I think they're fantastic. They're 100% new tooling. The likenesses look really good. The paint jobs are great. Like, I think they're great, great action figures. But they had some assortments that were kind of weak. Like the Wonder Woman had some real head scratchers, like why they picked one character instead of another. Like it was just kind of odd the way they chose to put the figures out. But I love those figures. I think they're great. And as far as the multiverse stuff, like you said, to see these last two waves, which I assume this is it, because they have to be done by the end of the year.
Oh, they've said this is it.
Okay, so to see these last two waves and be like, these look phenomenal. Why weren't you guys doing this for the past? Because didn't Classics end in 2016?
Yes.
Why haven't you been doing this for the last 3 years?
Right. And I think, they had the opportunity back then. They could have done what Marvel Legends did, take some time off, and then essentially restart.
Yeah. Well, and I think they sort of, like, they did that, but then when they restarted, because they did the mix of TV and comic figures, which I think was a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Which I wish Hasbro would stop doing that. But yeah, I can't say I'm necessarily sad to see DC going somewhere else, but I don't know that McFarlane is really the place I wanted it to go.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say, the DC Multiverse figures, even the first wave from way back when, those have aged better than, like, the Marvel Legends that are that old.
From the same era, yeah. I agree with that 100%.
And so while Marvel Legends, I'm definitely going back through and replacing characters, there's not a lot of DC Universe figures that I could see wanting to replace.
No, I can't see much in the way of upgrades on any of the Mattel stuff, which is interesting. No, I think Mattel's biggest enemy is themselves. They've always had distribution problems. They just canceled a very popular and beloved by fans series of wrestling figures because of distribution problems.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the DC wrestling. We'll talk about that later.
No, I'm talking about the WWE retro figures that are like the old Hasbro figures. They could not get those to stores for some reason, and it tanked the line, and now it's on hiatus is their official word. Well, we got to move on to the next thing, and my next thing that I suppose I have to talk about due to the nature of my career and my history are the WWE Masters of the Universe action figures. So
I don't know.
Look, I love WWE. I love Masters of the Universe. I'm not interested in these. However, and the core concept of them is they are wrestling figures because this line is basically the same thing as the new Masters of the Universe Origins line. It's 5-inch scale figures done in the He-Man style, but with articulation. And we'll just go ahead and say right now, Masters of the Universe Origins is launching next year to coincide with the movie that's supposedly coming out. They announced He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Beastman, Teela, and Evil Lyn. They all have articulation, unlike the original vintage figures, but we'll probably talk about that more with Mr. Bo Brown if we can get him on for a mini-cast. So we won't go too deep into that here. But alongside that, they're launching the WWE Masters of the Universe line, that are 5-inch figures. But the thing is, they are, if you take all of the armor and stuff off of them, they're just wrestling figures. And
that's a smart idea.
It's smart. Well, it's smart to do it that way. I don't know that the idea is actually smart, but it's if you're going to do it, that's the smart way to do it.
That Sting Clawful combo makes me laugh every time I see it, though.
Oh, they're all hilarious because they've got Terror Claws Triple H. They have Finn Balor with these like ropes attached to his hands. The Grayskull ring looks awesome, and I will absolutely buy that.
I just question, who is the market for these toys?
That's what I don't understand, because they look like children's toys. They're not going to appeal to people who collect WWE Elites. They're not going to appeal to people who are like Bo isn't going to buy these.
Yeah.
I think they're going to tank. I think they're going to tank faster than Funko's Savage World figures have tanked, which, by the way, Series 2 on clearance at Target now. Officially been released at Target for under a month. Yeah, these are, I think we might see 2 waves of these, and that'll be the end of it. But I will buy the ring, and I will buy the New Day Manny Faces. That is a Manny Faces figure with the 3 members of New Day are the different faces.
One of the reasons I really wish that figure was coming out within the next week or 2 before Dragon Con.
Oh, to get Xavier to sign it?
Just so. I don't even want Xavier to sign it. I just want to take it with me and go talk to Xavier and be like, "What the hell is this?" Like,
but he'll put it over. He will. I'm sure he will absolutely not
and
poo-poo.
If I see him, we will probably talk about it at Dragon Con, and he will probably talk me into buying it because he'll have me all hyped about it, and I'll be like, "I definitely need that figure."
That's true. We don't need to have it with us to talk to him about it.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
We will at some future episode of the Needless Things podcast, we will report back with Xavier Woods' likely kayfabe thoughts on the Manny Faces New Day figure. All right, we got to wrap this thing up. Ryan, what is your final pick from San Diego Comic-Con?
Oh Lord,
it's got to be the big one.
It's like Marvel Legends looks at my bank account and goes, "Yeah, that's nice. Let's see how much we can take out of that."
My gosh, you're not kidding. And look, every year I say I've got to cut back on what I'm buying from Marvel Legends. And every year they do something crazy, like a fucking strong guy Build-A-Figure.
I mean, what's interesting about what they revealed is they have now basically checked off almost everything of all the people's list of like, here's who we're missing. So yeah, we're getting the strong guy Build-A-Figure. With that, they're doing the Gambit Polaris 2-pack.
Havoc and Polaris.
Oh, Havoc.
Totally in their like Peter David era X Factor gear.
Yeah, my only issue with that thing is I am damn sick of that effect. The magic effect they include with everything. It's a great accessory, but they've way overused it. It's time to get a new one. And then I like the Walgreens exclusive. I think their packaging is Danny Moon.
Yeah, well, who knows? They may do packaging variants, but yeah, it's Danny Moonstar, Karma. No, wait.
Yep.
Karma and Wolfsbane.
Yeah, and the Wolfsbane comes with, the head and the hands.
But I wish there was just a regular Rain Sinclair head, too.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're going to make a Magic in that costume. I hope they do.
Oh, they have to. They have to.
And then so at that point, really, we're just missing, what? Sunspot, Cypher. That's about it.
Yeah, we've got Warlock. I mean, I guess if they wanted to do Douglock, maybe.
Yeah, they could.
But yeah, they're on the way.
Yeah. Who else did they show? They got more pictures, like promotional shots of the Wendigo Wave, which is looking really good.
I ordered a few of them. I don't really care about the Wendigo Build-A-Figure, but I ordered Nightcrawler and Boom Boom and one other one. I can't remember who the other one is now.
Yeah. A big surprise, they revealed the full wave of the next Avengers wave. It's a full movie wave.
Which I'm thrilled about.
Yeah, and that thing went up for pre-order like that day.
Well, but the thing is, they have everybody except for Iron Patriot up on Hasbro Pulse.
Oh, I thought I saw him on there.
No, he's not up unless he's in some, because, that website's not organized the best. Sometimes you have to go to, like, pre-orders and Marvel Legends to find everything. So unless he's buried somewhere, but I have not seen him yet. And Valkyrie sold out immediately, but last time I looked, they had more stock on her. I wish Heimdall was from an earlier movie, though.
Yeah, I think it's odd that they did that. Because he's one of the big missing movie figures, right? I don't collect the figures.
Yeah, he's one that's been absent and been much requested, but I'd much rather have him in his armor than his homeless guy Ragnarok look.
Right. Oh, yeah, he's back up. Iron Patriot.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's there.
And then they're doing the Giant Man Build-A-Figure. They're selling by itself, which I think is very cool. Even though the figure's way too small, if people want it, at least they don't have to spend a lot to get it.
Yeah, they updated Vision. And then the Lebowski Thor's the Build-A-Figure. I think he looks really good. He's a movie figure I would probably buy if I could just get him, because I don't do the movie figures, but... then they...
Two different heads, which is nice. Get sunglasses head and no sunglasses head.
Yeah. They had the X-Force Deathlock, which is a weird choice, but...
But they're completing X-Force.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back and look, they have done... everybody in that iteration of X-Force, the only ones they've got left, they need to do an X-Force Psylocke. Well, you know what? I don't know that Psylocke had to do... No, she did. They need to do an X-Force Psylocke and an X-Force Archangel, and I think they're done with that team.
Mm-hmm. Were the 80th... I see they announce so much stuff all the time.
All of the 80th stuff was already announced at Toy Fair. None of that was new.
Okay.
But Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Wolverine, that 3-pack is new.
Which I find odd. Like, everybody's real excited about that pack, and I think it looks good, but I guess I found that Jean Grey and way back when they did her, when they first restarted, and I think she's fine, but I guess a lot of people didn't get her.
I think a lot of people missed her, and this one does look better. The proportions are better. The feet are better. She doesn't have the stupid heel feet.
Yeah, I like the ponytail head.
She's a worthy upgrade. Cyclops' jacket looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. I'll probably end up with that 3-pack.
And the Wolverine, I mean, they just released a Wolverine almost exactly like this, but Wolverine sells, so I can't really argue it.
Yeah. They had Shang-Chi, which is one everybody's wanted for a long time. I'm really glad they did his 1970s, like, original Shang-Chi, so he's a definite get. The Savage She-Hulk, or whatever they're calling her. I can't remember.
That's Hulk.
Hulk, yeah, which she's already gone back, I think.
That's gender-neutral Hulk.
Yeah, so I'll skip that. They did the Deadpool Hit Monkey 2-pack in the white suits, and
it's a great novelty, but I won't get it.
Yeah.
But I'll probably get it for my son.
They did an update, like a camo fatigue Punisher. It's fine. And then, who else they showed? They showed some more Spider-Man video game figures.
Yes, and they look great, and they're actually new sculpts instead of just repaints that don't look good.
Mm-hmm.
They showed Age of Apocalypse figures, including an update of one of the biggest shelf warmers of all time, Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
God, I forgotten I had that figure, so I went and looked at my shelves, because I was like looking at it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I have that. And I looked at it, and I was like, oh, that's why he's in the back.
And that figure, one, it's terrible. Two, it was a peg warmer for years.
Yeah,
but this one actually looks kind of cool.
Yeah, the head's like really like that weird big
it's-
stylized.
Yeah, it's crazy looking. And then Morph, which whatever, I don't need that. And Nate Gray. Which
I'll get Nate. I'm a big fan of Nate Gray.
I totally would have bought him, 25 years ago or whatever. Not really that invested in that guy now.
I mean, it gives me hope. Like seeing Morph and Nate Gray, we are so close to Adam X the Extreme.
Oh no!
I'll buy like several Adam X's if that's what I got to do.
I think
him and Maggot. Like, come on now, give them to me.
I gotta say, I think that's a pretty good play. Adam X really should be the end to any show, any successful show.
A new Vulture, he looks really good. And then they showed one of the big ones people have been requesting is an updated Doom. And they haven't come out with him for a long time.
Does he look that much better than the old one, though?
No. Yeah, I won't get him. I like he has two heads, so you can kind of do whichever mask you like a little better. But he's one I don't need to upgrade for. That Marvel Legends Doom that came out, God.
With the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
He's great.
He is. So I don't think I'll update him. And then they did the Cosmic Ghost Rider, which the comic's fine, but I don't see, it's a pretty metal-looking figure.
I mean, the toy looks awesome, but I have no investment in the character whatsoever, so whatever.
Yeah. And then probably the Marvel Legend I was the most excited about was Squirrel Girl. The only issue I have with her is they did her as one of the legendary riders, that comes in the box and is, $40, I think?
Yeah.
She didn't need to be a legendary rider. Like, I don't need a scooter for her. And so I don't know if they did that to kind of help with the offset of the tooling they had to do for her, for the tail and everything.
That's my guess, because that's basically the Deadpool scooter, right?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's just got the basket on the front now for Tippy and other squirrel. So, I'll get it. I'll definitely get her. But I think that, like we said at the beginning, the big win for Hasbro Marvel Legends this year is that Strong guy. Like,
baby, I've been asking for that forever.
God, he looks good.
Proportions are perfect.
Yeah, he's going to look crazy on the shelf. The only thing I worry about him is that is a top-heavy looking figure.
Yeah, but I bet I'm looking at it, and I bet there's a lot of hollow plastic up there.
Yeah, I hope so, because that thing's going to fall right over it. And one thing I hope, they did the same thing with Marvel Legends they did with Star Wars, where they had this giant, huge display. And if you haven't seen it, find somebody that took a bunch of pictures of it. It is amazing.
Well, go to the Fwoosh.
Yeah, I mean, it's multi-layered. There's tons of stuff going on. There's some, what they said again, were custom figures of Doombots in there that look really good, and I hope they make.
There was a Deadpool Macho Man Randy Savage.
Hell yeah. But, I mean, it's just crazy the output that Marvel Legends is doing.
You're telling me I want to get a second job.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Well, Ryan, do you feel like we've covered all of the coolest and best toys from San Diego Comic-Con 2019?
I do. Overall for the show, I think we had talked before. I was expecting, I think, a little bigger show than we got. And I don't know exactly why I was kind of underwhelmed on the whole by the toys this year. But we got some really cool stuff. So,
well, and we got some big movie news.
Yeah.
But before we talk about that, you and I are going to take a little break and get Mr. Mike Gordon on the horn, and the listeners are going to take a break for about a week when we come back with part 2 of our San Diego Comic-Con coverage. Ryan, thanks for coming on, talking about toys. Let's take 5 and come back and talk about the real superstars of this year's Comic-Con.
Just a little preview. The Gotham universe is back.
Oh, baby. Whew. Can I tell you guys? how glad I am that I only have to record one episode tonight, or only have to produce one episode tonight, and then I have a whole week before I have to do the next episode. This might be the fastest turnaround I've ever had. We finished recording a little bit after 11 o'clock. It's 11:46 right now. I've already got the picture done. I am almost done with the production on the episode. By midnight, I will have everything uploaded and ready to go to Podbean and to publish to needlessthingspodcast.com. Isn't that something? Oh, man. So Dragon Con, right around the corner. I am fully in preparation mode now, although, again, I don't have a ton to prepare for. I have a couple of panels on the American Sci-Fi Classics track, obviously. I believe I am moderating a couple of panels for the horror track. I might be doing something for the puppetry track, and I might have a couple other things that I cannot mention yet. And I definitely have one other thing that I definitely am not mentioning yet. But again, you guys probably kind of know what's up. The only questions are how much cool stuff can happen between now and then. Oh, also, I need a Sir Davos sword. I don't know if I've really spilled the beans on this yet, but I have a kick-ass Sir Davos costume. I think I mentioned this on the show. That's absolutely amazing, but I need a Sir Davos sword and also scabbard or sheath. I don't know which, or if it's either. And belt. I've got everything else, but I need that. Help me out. I love you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Needless Things podcast. You're the best. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Downcast, or in the ears of a Trader Vic's employee. Love you, mean it,